Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Star Citizen Alpha 3.21.1 is on the Open PTU, so it's in open testing. Anyone can try it as long as you've got a game package, I believe. And CIG have been testing a ton of new content, including the expo halls for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo at New Babbage on Microtech, as well as a ton of other new content in this patch. And I'm going to talk about what's happened throughout this PTU cycle, what's been updated, what new features we've got, as this patch is about to go live within the next few days. So let's talk about those 3.21.1 features and additions that have been made and tweaked during that PTU phase, and the massive update to the Siege of Orison and AI. The Crusader C1 Spirit and Argo SRV ships have both been added to the game, and both those ships have tractor beams. The SRV is basically just a giant tractor beam, but tractor beams, ship-scale tractor beams, are one of the major features of this patch. So various ships now have their tractor beams operable via remote turrets and the co-pilot seat there, although some ships like the 315P and the Vulture have pilot-controlled beams. Ships can be towed by the Argo SRV, even through quantum travel. The tractor beam updates and fixes are still ongoing. There is still a lot of silly things you can do with tractor beams, but that's one of the reasons that Star Citizen's an alpha, and this is very much in PTU testing. They're trying to get through a load of the most egregious exploits and bugs with tractor beams before they put them into the live build. Ships and vehicles can only be tractored if their shields are down, and potentially it's an aggressive action and legal action to do this to a ship that you are not already hostile with or isn't in your party. Turning shields on while the ship is being tractored will break the beam. Players whose vehicle is being towed by a non-party member will be given a prompt to be able to press charges against the person that's towing if they wish to. I believe this is a temporary solution until they come up with a more elegant solution. Different ships and beams have different min and max distances. This allows some ships to manage their cargo by dragging boxes and vehicles into their cargo bay and sort of moving it around. Others aren't so lucky because they have a minimum range that doesn't work very well with them. They've also temporarily updated salvage mission ships to not be tractorable. I think that's still a thing. Let's see if that actually gets changed before live. They've implemented a new dedicated tractor beam UI. They've added target distance indicators to that and a range bar. There is going to be a new dedicated FPS tractor beam as well. I have not seen it or used it yet, but obviously it's just a bigger version of what you have with the multi-tool. There is a myriad of other features as well in the patch. Ship trespass. So players that are on a ship that they do not own will be considered trespassers if it's another person's ship. This means the crew can attack them without risking a criminal rating, and also stowaways will no longer show on the comms channel for the ship, so you'll have to go, hang on, is that person supposed to be on the ship? But yeah, you can deal with them freely without getting a criminal rating, and you can even chase them back to their own ship, as there's a timer that sort of degrades after they've left your ship where you can still attack them. Players kicked from party still have the rights to be on a ship until they leave or they attack another crew member. New Babbage is set up for the tutorial and updated for the new player experience, which makes sense because that's the place where they're going to have the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. The landing zone has had an update pass, improving signage and movement around the area. There's also been a lighting polish pass, things like that. Various points of interest have had polish passes, from eliminating strong glare around the major landing zones in Area 18 to just general little passes trying to improve them. They've updated ground radar stuff, so different radars can see ground vehicles from different ranges. This includes a full balance pass on ground vehicle emissions, and ground vehicles can missile lock other ground vehicles now, which is actually pretty important. As part of the PTU cycle, they then increased the ground vehicle emissions and reduced the ground sensitivity on all ship radars, so overall distance is unaffected for ships, but will allow ground vehicles to see each other from further away. Vehicle headlight refactor has been done, giving a more consistent look for headlights and ranges you see for ships. The larger the ship or headlight, the longer the cast distance for that ship. So size 1, 500 meters, all the way up to size 6, which is 3,000 meters. I believe it's 500 meters additionally per size. There's been a ship mass balance pass, at least some of it. So the Nova, Corsair, Vanguard, Caterpillar, Mo, Raft, and Star Runner have all had a balance pass to their actual masses in the universe. Ships are still going through their mass balance passes, and we will see things like atmospheric flight speed adjustments, stuff like that, as they tweak them, and obviously they're going to expand that to everything else eventually. They've increased the speed and torque of the Greycat STV. The Tumbrel Nova has had movement tweaks for its min and max friction and steering stiffness. There's a load of mission and AI updates though, and this is one of the sort of major parts of this patch. So CIG have completed the full integration of FPS AI behavior from Squadron 42. These updates that have been polished and worked on outside of Star Citizen release builds until now will vastly improve overall difficulty, reaction times, animations, behaviors, and other traits, and make combat with them much more dangerous but a rewarding experience. Been some erratic bugs and stuff like that with AI throughout Star Citizen and all of its patches, and this one is no different, although they are polishing a lot of this stuff off throughout the PTU cycle. They've also rebalanced defend missions along with adding new AI activities and traits and balancing the rewards. There's slight increases to reputation requirements for the retrieval ops missions. They have rebalanced the cargo amounts and types that spawn inside derelicts and AI ships in the persistent universe using a new distribution algorithm. Some people are upset about that because they want more loot, and these sort of things seem to nerf loot or make the really sort of rare loot much less likely typically. There are new data heist missions. These are to infiltrate underground facilities or bunkers, hack them or access a terminal there, which you can do with a data chip. You protect the servers after you've hacked them and prevent them from overheating or being destroyed while uploading data, and waves of enemies attack. There have been lots of tweaks and passes for this mission throughout the PTU, but it's looking pretty cool. The underground facilities have also seen ledge cover and navigation improvements as part of a polish pass. The Siege of Orison has been majorly updated and will be running throughout 3.21.1 and in the future beyond that as well. So the Siege now has a warning period for the event. Basically it goes, we're starting in 30 minutes, and Rowena Dooley will say something's going down, and that will allow people to prep and accept the mission, get all ready for it. The lift from Orison to the rooftop that allows you to sort of access there and get the shuttles there is only going to be enabled when the event starts. All the shuttle call terminals require the lieutenant's code to be input one time to unlock. An example of this would be the shuttle from easy to medium islands that will use the Solenki boss's code. This includes if you've managed to unlock it from the medium island as well. The only one that won't have a code is the broken shuttle from the hard to easy island. The barge now has a container that will prevent people from pushing into the barge beyond the first room. This becomes unlocked when all the previous island's bosses have been completed. There have been changes under the hood to turrets and the way the IFI interacts with ships and players. If you take a siege ship out of the area while the event is active, it will activate self-destruct. That player cannot turn that off, but if you get back into the area, that will disable the self-destruct. Once the IFI on the barge is down, players will be free to take ships as the self-destruct will be disabled. If you try and take your own ship into the area, you will be impounded back to the last ATC the player was near. If a player commits a crime or attacks another player on the mission, they will get a marker placed on them, and players still in the mission will be allowed to kill them, deal with them how they want. With this, they will see an objective to do with Ninetales sympathizers and how many have been killed. You will only see markers for sympathizers on the same island as you, but it's basically a great way of dealing with PvPers, right? Go, they are here, and you can see them moving around. When you kill the island lieutenants and loot the code, you'll get a marker on potential iffy locations. There are various new audio lines informing you if there are PvPers around, and for general mission progression and updates and reminders. Stability in the last couple of PTUs is a load better, as is performance for me. There is still a load of work that needs to be done. There are a load of known issues as well, from docking ports and collars not working properly, to items floating around stores, to AI falling through floors, and missions not being acceptable, and even desync in EVA. CIG are pushing to fix as much as possible before 3.21.1 goes live. They need to get into the best state they can ahead of the IAE, and that major free fly event. Obviously, performance, stability, and accessibility being the main things they're trying to focus on, because we don't want a state of the game where it is terrible for the new player experience, for people not being able to log in, for not being able to actually get out of a landing zone, for terrible bugs preventing you from moving around the verse, things like that. So hopefully we are in a good state for the live build, and it looks like we might be. You can also expect more ships and vehicles to turn up in this patch, along with the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo 2953 Expo starting Friday the 17th of November. Also, just seen in the latest build that I had noticed that the Tumbrel Storm is actually there. I'll be looking at that in a dedicated video. Boom! That's it for your Star Citizen Alpha 3.21.1 update and the sort of state of the PTU as it stands at the moment. I'm really interested to know what your experiences of 3.21.1 are and what they are in the current sort of latest patch of that. Are you having a great time? Has it been terrible? Are you crashing and getting loads of 30Ks? How are the AI acting? Have you been playing around with tractor beams? Have you been seeing silly exploits with that? Whatever your thoughts or questions, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What is best in life? To crush your enemies? To see them driven before you? And to hear the lamentations of their women? No, of course not. It's NordVPN. I never saw Conan the Barbarian checking his bank balance and then watching some cool shows on Netflix, all while protecting his privacy and being super secure. To be honest, I can't even remember Conan wearing a shirt. Silly Conan. And now, a big old snake god's got your internet history. Good job. Don't be a Conan the Barbarian. Check out NordVPN. Links below for powerful discounts too. Every month we've been giving away a ship for Star Citizen, but for November, to celebrate the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo 2953, we are giving away a load of different ships, each to a different person. The Avenger Titan, the Drake Cutter, the C8X Pisces, the Mustang Alpha, and the Nomad. All great starter ships, but also useful for any fleet. They all come with a game package and lifetime insurance. That's all you need to start playing Star Citizen. That's 5 prizes and 5 chances to win. Just comment on any of my videos made during November to be in for a chance of winning. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that goes the extra mile in supporting the channel via Patreon or the join button under my videos and then becoming a channel member. Please consider joining those fabulous people as well. It allows us to make daily content for Star Citizen and Squadron 42, delving into all the news, drama, development info, and gameplay that these games have to offer. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the verse.